Chosen one, I need to tell you something. Something personal. Something that might make you cry. Not from sadness, from relief. From finally knowing what you've always needed to know. I was there in your darkest moment. That moment you think about. The one that comes back to you sometimes, when you're quiet, when you're alone. The one that still carries weight, even now, even after everything you've survived. I was there, in that room, in that silence, in that moment when you felt more alone than you'd ever felt in your life. When the weight became unbearable, when the tears wouldn't stop, when you couldn't see a single reason for anything. I was there, and you did not know. You thought you were alone. You believed the silence meant absence. You interpreted the darkness as abandonment. But chosen one, I was closer to you in that moment than I have ever been. Not watching from a distance, right there, beside you, holding what you couldn't hold yourself, carrying what your body was too tired to carry, keeping something alive in you that you were too broken to keep alive yourself. That small thing inside you that refused to give up completely. That tiny ember that stayed lit when everything else went dark. That was not your strength. That was mine. Placed inside you specifically for that moment, so you would make it through. Because I knew what was on the other side, and you couldn't see it yet, but I could, and it was worth protecting you for. Let me take you back to that moment, not to hurt you, but to show you something you missed because you were in too much pain to see it. Do you remember how that moment started? The build-up, the slow accumulation of everything, loss layered on loss, disappointment stacked on disappointment until the weight became impossible, until you found yourself somewhere you never expected to be, in darkness so thick you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. You remember what you felt, the emptiness, the silence of a world that seemed to keep moving while you were completely still, frozen, wondering if this was it, if this was where the story ended, if anyone would even notice if you simply disappeared. I noticed. I was there. And in that moment, here is what I was doing. While you were crying, I was collecting every tear, not metaphorically. Each one was seen, each one was counted, each one was held as evidence of how much you cared, how deeply you felt, how human and real and beautiful you were, even in your breaking. While you were questioning everything, I was holding the answers, not ready to release them yet, not because I was cruel, because the answers required a version of you that hadn't been formed yet. And that version was being formed in that exact moment, in that darkness, in that pain. While you felt forgotten, I was fighting for you, against every force that wanted that moment to be your last, against every lie that said you were finished, against every voice that told you no one cared, no one noticed, no one was coming. I was coming. I was already there. Now let me tell you what I saw when I looked at you in that moment. You couldn't see yourself clearly. Pain distorts vision. Darkness distorts perception. But I could see you perfectly. And this is what I saw. I saw someone who had carried more than was fair, who had given more than was returned, who had loved more than was received, who had tried harder than was acknowledged, who had held on longer than seemed possible. I saw someone who was not weak, who was exhausted from being strong for too long without enough support,
without enough rest, without enough people saying, "I see you, I've got you, you don't have to do this alone." I saw someone who deserved so much more than what that season had given them, and I made a decision in that moment that you would not end there, that the story was not finished, that what I placed inside you was too important, too necessary, too specific to this generation to let that be the final chapter. So I stayed, all night if that's what it took, through every wave of pain, through every moment of doubt, through every second you felt invisible. I was visible to you, even when you couldn't see me.
And now, I need to tell you why that moment happened. Not to justify the pain, but to give it meaning. Because meaningless pain is the heaviest kind. But pain with purpose becomes something you can carry, even reference, even share. That dark moment happened because you were at a crossroads between who you had been and who you were about to become. And the old version of you had to reach its absolute limit, had to come to the end of itself completely. Because transformation doesn't happen in comfort. It happens at the breaking point, at the place where everything runs out, where control collapses, where the version of you that was surviving finally gives way to the version of you that was always meant to live. That dark moment was the death of who you were, and I was there for the burial, but I was also there preparing the resurrection, because I knew what was about to emerge from that darkness would be unrecognizable, stronger, deeper, more rooted, more real, more powerful than anything you had been before. And I was right. Look at you now, still here, still standing, still moving forward after everything that tried to stop you. That is not your doing alone. That is evidence that something was with you, fighting for you, refusing to let you go, even when you were ready to let yourself go. Now let me speak to the shame, because some of you have carried shame about that moment, about how dark it got, about how close to the edge you came, about thoughts you had, things you considered, places your mind went that frightened even you. Let go of that shame right now, not gradually, now. Because darkness does not make you broken, it makes you human. And the fact that you came through it without being destroyed by it makes you something rare, something refined, something that darkness tried to claim and failed. That is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to be in awe of. You survived something that not everyone survives, and you are still here, still breathing, still reading these words, which means the story didn't end there, which means what I placed in you is still very much alive, which means everything I protected you for is still ahead of you. Now, let me tell you what I need from you. Stop minimizing what you survived. Stop pretending it wasn't as dark as it was. It was dark. It was real. It was serious, and you made it through. That deserves to be acknowledged, not performed, not broadcasted, but privately, between you and me, acknowledged. I went through something dark. I almost didn't make it, but something kept me here, and I'm still here. Say that to yourself. Mean it, because the moment you fully acknowledge what you survived is the moment the weight of it finally lifts, and what has been sitting on your chest since that moment releases, and you breathe differently, and you walk differently, and you see yourself differently, not as someone who almost broke, but as someone who bent all the way to the ground and still came back up. And finally, I want you to know this. I have never left. Not since that moment, not after it. Not in the seasons that followed. Not in the moments of doubt. Not in the times you thought you were alone again. I was there. I am here, right now, in this moment, as you read this. I am as close to you as the breath you just took. and what I was protecting you for is becoming more visible now. The reason I kept you is becoming more clear. The purpose behind the pain is beginning to make sense, and the life that's unfolding in front of you is the answer to the question your darkest moment asked. Is there